Time now for a check of the top business news stories. I'm here with our business editor, Kate Moody. Hi there, Kate.
Hi, Tom.
Now, let's start by looking at a news survey here in France. It's about foreign investment during the pandemic. What does it say?
Well, for 2 years in a row now, France has attracted more investment by foreign businesses than any other European economy. It's according to a new report that was published by the consultancy firm EY. 985 new projects were launched here last year. That's down about 18% from 2019 because of the pandemic. Still enough to put it slightly ahead of the UK and Germany in the standings, as you can see there. President Emmanuel Macron welcomed the news in a tweet, saying there had been a concrete and positive effect on the French economy, including the creation of some 30,000 jobs. Well, let's speak now to Pascal Kiagny, French ambassador for international investment and chairman of Business France, the government entity that helps to attract those foreign firms. Thanks for joining us on France 24 this evening. 2020 was a tough year for businesses around the world. Overall, foreign direct investment did drop around the globe. Why was France able to outpace its neighbors? Why are companies still choosing to put down roots here?
You're right. We talk about more than 40% of decrease overall of what is called the FDI worldwide, while France is only at a minus 18 and keep the leadership. For one reason is that what we did early on, we protect essentially our economy. We try to preserve the lives, and we also try to protect and put a net of security around the economy. That's the reasons why we put a lot of guarantee loan for the companies, a lot of furlough, and all of that seems to pay off in the sense that we've got an amazing rebound of the economy, and that right now, when you look at the figures, the investors continue to vote with their feet and their checkbook and invest in the country.
So looking ahead, what kind of a role is that emergency support program from the French government going to play in supporting businesses and workers going ahead?
And what is at stake is really about how we're going to construct an economy which by 2050 could be the first largest decarbonated economy of Europe. That's kind of the goal. To do so, the relaunch plan, which is around 4% of the GDP, as you may know, is split around three core areas. One which is called the social cohesions, which remain very much important at the stage where the COVID has been affected the lives of many, as well as the modus operandi into the company. The focus on the green transitions, and last but not least, the innovations. We Europeans, France especially, to take full benefit of the next digital revolution at stake ahead of us, right? We had phone, iPhone, internet, and now ahead of us we've got the cloud and clearly the artificial intelligence. If we really project ourselves into these type of revolutions, I think we got a good chance to get stronger after such a toughest time with the COVID.
Now, some sectors have fared better than others. France's Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire has been speaking about how to keep tech companies in particular here in France. Let's just listen to what he had to say earlier today.
There needs to be more financing, and we must stop seeing a number of startups developing in France and then expanding overseas. None of our fellow countrymen can accept that we spend public money to help startups emerge and develop and then continue in a foreign country, often in the US, where they find more favourable financing.
Pascal, does that reflect what you've heard from the tech sector? And concretely, what changes are being planned here?
No, we are living in a very ambiguous world. We're doing two things. We want to attract more money from typically the venture capitalists in the US so that they basically help us to finance, to mature our ecosystems, which he did quite successfully. Up to 30 to 35% of the total capital deployed is coming from VC in the US, which is actually testifying the quality of the ecosystems. But in the meantime, exactly what our minister has been stating, once they basically grow from the early stage to the late stage, obsessions, hence why we got this initiative called Scale Up Europe, is about mobilizing the savings of the citizens here in Europe to preserve the jobs and ensure that the large company or the Series D, Series A, the late stage growth company continue to develop on the territory because that's where they create jobs. So I think today we are clear on the journey where after having putting basically the money for the family and friends, ensuring that we offer money in the early stage, now we need to focus on that late stage. Doing so, I believe that we could recreate an economy which is going to be much stronger than the last 20 years because the talent of Europe, the size of Europe by itself, the need of Europe and the obsessions of basically doing these green transitions is going to prevail. That's really what is at stake, and I think it's illustrated very well by what Minister Le Maire is stating.
Throughout his mandate, Emmanuel Macron has been trying to make France an easier place to do business. He was pushing ahead with some pretty major reforms before the pandemic, which contributed to a record level of foreign investment in France back in 2019. Where do those efforts stand now?
No, it's a continuous type of effort we need to do. That's called the red tape, bureaucracy in a words here. We've got a new law called ASAP, which actually, by just the wordings of the acronyms, is stating what it means. We remember that we made tremendous progress. You can actually set up a company here quicker than in any other places, including England or Germany. We can also have a lot less bureaucracy in dealing with that because the amount of Ethernet which has been used into the government has been huge. So where we stand is just to continue the efforts. We need to be quicker at deploying basically industrial sites. We need to be quicker at offering the right tech visa or French visa to ensure that the people and the talent come here in the country. We need to be quicker at ensuring that our products get to market, not being basically slowed down by too much regulations. So that's really what is at stake. Now, the progress are huge, but it's a day-to-day efforts, and we shouldn't basically rely on our laurels on this one, and we should continue to work. Hence, after the PACT law, PACT, which was the law done essentially 2 years ago, we're now after the ASAP law, which is really about addressing this issue, this constant issue.
Pascal Cagny, Chairman of Business France, thanks as always for joining us on France 24 this evening. And that's all the business news for now. Tom, I'll be back in the next hour.